This is IBM Museum. I've just come in, actually started things up and plugged things in for a video continuation of where I left off yesterday. And I've got things set up the same way, just booted up the Model 50, and we have that last disk left in there that was on the previous video, the one that we're going to go through and try to rebuild. And I may move the SkyCam down, and I don't know how long this is going to take. There may be an opportunity under the the video, whichever way, for the webcam that I have here, or otherwise to show kind of what I brought as well. Because you have to have some basic tools, and I knew I did have the reference diskette that was here and operational. I should have actually kind of branded the series on video to where I could have taken a picture of the official Model 50 and 60 diskette that I had right at home with that stuff too, but I didn't bring that in. But as part of the preparation, I did bring some MS-DOS diskettes, because after I go through and run the stuff from the reference disk to get it low-level format, I'm at the F-disk and format and all that. I can go through the point of installing an operating system. I don't necessarily think I'm going to put that on video, but these are probably even, and I have two sets here that are of the MS-DOS 6.22. They're probably virtually unused. And I also have two sets that these are even still sealed in the plastic shrink wrap, as you can see, certificate of authenticity on the underneath that shrink wrap. I don't think I'm going to open these or anything like that. Just brought them along. I mean, I don't know the conditions of these diskettes. That's why I bring multiple sets, just not to get hung up. And so I'll probably do the same format. I can just spin around here and basically, so I'm still visible on the camera. As I say, I've gone through and I've booted up from that system information tool, plus boot, as I've marked with my red pen, and I've gone through with the post-it notes and just marked just about everything around for what it is. And the really good disk here, the one that I said mixed boot files, where I still had to tell us that bad or missing command interpreter, and it had that command.com for the 6.22 on the in the root directory, but didn't have any of the other files that are needed. And then I've got my we still have our disk up here marked with the date, bad shape, ref disk, CTRL-A, needed. And there I've got my reference diskette. I probably don't want to have that label inside the drive, but we're going to go through, actually before I do that, let's get to that Norton directory, because I want to see if I can, I thought I'd pull some, get some blank diskettes. I think they're blank, and to go through and I'm just going to see. Okay. I don't know this or that's a critical file. That's just something excuse me, I'm going to use the cough button here too. You get to see it, but you don't get to hear it. Okay. And we put in the other one. Okay, so that's blank. We can put that other one away. And I want to go through and to get, you know, within that Norton directory, there wasn't anything other than that command.com out here in the root directory. But change directory to the Norton. And I think we had below a megabyte of files that were there. So we're just going to say copy. And we're going to do wildcards dit.dit. And I mean, we do have the format and the fdisk on this as well. And how do we... And I guess I won't worry necessarily about copying those, because I think we saw those hidden files. No, I guess it didn't have any hidden files, so I don't need to worry about that anyway. I was thinking I could copy everything to a diskette, but I don't have this diskette syst anyway to make it a boot diskette. I was just thinking of that command.com being in here, and the possibility it could be a format, you know, it could be a boot diskette, and I have the format and fdisk command here, but I've got MS-DOS right here. And these are the version 5 things, which is really not any difference. And since we don't have any hidden files, I don't need to specify any other switches. And we're going to see how well this copy command is going to do, because it may have trouble with the disk in this bad of shape. But I just want to see if I can get things back off. Yeah, see. Let's do a retry. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to spend any time. Okay. So it's prompting us for a disk with command.com, even though so we didn't get the files that we wanted there, and we're going to eject that disk anyway, because we're going to need to boot from this reference diskette now. Just to see how things are showing up. And as I say, during the process, I don't know, I have to see if whether I move that that SkyCam to focus on the front to show the that drive access or anything else like that, but I don't think I need to do. So on the keyboard, my nice Model M blue logo, I'm going to do a CTRL-A, and it's been a long time since I've done any of this process, and like I say, I don't know how long it's going to take. We have a system checkout, and then we have format fix disk. That's just kind of a hidden utility on the reference diskette to do in this instance. So we're going to do format fix disk. Okay, and prepare drive C for operating system. Okay, we'll erase all information, and as we've seen, we're not able to recover any of that anyway. Okay. Between 20 minutes and 6 hours, do you want to stop now? No, we want to go, and be sure to specify in for no. We don't want to stop. We want to press forward. Are you positive you want to continue? Y for yes. So it's a yes, no, yes process. Okay. Okay. Configuration area. So this may be a kind of a bust anyway. Return to control program. Okay. Actually exit. Okay. And I don't know what that system check. I'm just wanting to boot the from the reference diskette again, just to kind of see if we can get in there. And it was talking about going into the set configuration and making sure all that. I mean, it didn't give us any warning about the fixed disk. Set configuration. Okay. Fixed disk type could not be read from the fixed disk. Select change configuration that the fixed disk type is correct. Okay. So change configuration. And let's just, it's level 3. And type of drive is 30. I mean, we didn't make any changes. Okay. And another alternative would be to run the automatic configuration. Okay, or did not match the configuration. Let's see how the fixed disk is configured. So we're looping. I'm going to try the CTRL-A again. I guess we can only do that in... So this may be, well, all's not lost. So we'll go through and yeah, I'll just let it boot from that. I mean, I'd like to go through and low level format it, but we may just see if we can run the MS-DOS on it. So we're going to do Control-C. Or I mean Control A. I was thinking Control C. Control A. Okay. System checkout. Drive types are wrong. And see, we've been over this. It's I don't know if I want to go through this whole. See, 0 fixed disk. Suspect it's defective. I'm going to do the okay. Okay. Let's just run test one time. Select one. Our fixed disk, 0 fixed disk. Fixed disk controller test failure. And we only have that other control that is bad for all. It shows an error for all the drives attached. And this controller that's in here, and they may be referring to, sometimes what I've done is if I have a disk with bad platters, I go through and replace this controller board in here. Just to get the common components that work together. But I don't have any other, controller that fits in that adapter slot. Okay. 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 So actually what I want to do as it goes through and boots, I'm just going to get that, I'm going to put that first MS-DOS diskette in there. I mean, it's telling us 0 fixed disk, but then, we're able to transfer to that disk and kind of see what's been on it, even though it has errors. So this is kind of just a Hail Mary of whether we can get this drive or okay, your computer does not have a hard disk or not functioning correctly. So we are effectively stuck with this drive being in the condition that it is, which is not really and press F3. And we're still going to Hail Mary this thing. On this first on this first diskette, and I'll bet you F-disk won't want to. Yeah, I'll bet you F-disk won't want to run either. Okay. So, last chance at Hail Mary. We're going to say format C/S. We want to try and make it a system disk if we can. Invalid drive specification. And I can't even copy files over to it. My thought would be, just in an attempt to boot from it, we've gone 21 minutes so far. Put that diskette away. We're not able to copy anything from it. Okay. Reference diskette in the drive. I was thinking to boot to sit and see if I could get back into the hard drive. Possibly copy files. And see here we have to move the computer to park the heads as well. And maybe we bummed up this this diskette now. I wouldn't think so, but and then prompt us with an error, just like that diskette is now not bootable. So I had to power the system down. When I power it back up, I'm able to boot from it again. Okay. So now we're up to invalid drive specification. And don't worry, I'll go through and cut this short. If we don't gain any ground, okay, method to my madness now. I've got the reference diskette in the drive, pulling the battery. And it should instantly lose the configuration. There's not much. Sometimes you can short the terminals, or things like that as well. Just to, I mean the terminals of the, not of the battery itself, of the. And that's strange. It didn't give us a lost configuration error, so I probably didn't even have the battery out long enough. I was just thinking to pull the battery, have it detect, or have it show the errors that we'd lost the configuration, and so it would be... so that it would go through and restore a configuration. But even with this, with the okay, so we're not going to gain any ground here. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to where, after a power down, even to boot up use any boot diskette to be able to view this particular drive. Let's just kind of, this should just spin forever here. Just shy of a half hour, and this was all relatively a bust for... Okay, and that's what it gives us with no diskette in the drive. So, power down. Give me just a moment here. Okay, we're back on the SkyCam. So, as I said, I just basically came in and plugged things in. I did bring the all the MS-DOS stuff to try and boot, but I also bring this because I'm going to be, and I don't know about tonight, I'm going to be going through that. Man, that's almost as feels almost a little bit of the whole screen of the SkyCam. I also brought these. I'm going to be working with one of them to go through and actually pull the video BIOS out of there and read the contents, because that has a Cirrus Logic video controller, and there's the VRAM for this board. So, and I have 3 of these in the box, and of course they all have the same video RAM, but I need to take some pictures of that and everything as well. This is for the I don't plan a video of the complete system for quite some time, but this is mainly just because I get a hernia trying to bring it in here for all the weight of the system. This is for an IBM PC Server 720. And of particular interest, these are microchannel slots here. And then you also notice the white slots. These are PCI bus slots as well. And these slots here are not microchannel slots, even though they're kind of pointed crazy the other way. And in fact, some of these look the same as the microchannel slots, only displaced. And this is not some weird NCR system that also has the slots like this, like we saw on that 3220. But it is a mixed bus system with the PCI and microchannel, and then these this slot here being aligned with the PCI slot here. This is not for an adapter. This is for a bridge card that plugs in along this axis and takes from this area over here to it's the PCI bridge controller. And they made both 25 megahertz and 33 megahertz bridge chips or bridge cards for that. And I think there's a little bit of issues with the 25 megahertz card, and of course that makes the PCI bus run at 25 megahertz, the original speed. And I think I went through and once I put in the 33 megahertz bridge cards, I think my issues went away. I do have two of these complete units, two complete PC Server 720s. Now, and as I say, the three spare planers that I've brought in here, and they're all the same. And even I'm gonna have to work with these. I mean, I say complete systems, but before I even get them fired up, here's Dallas modules that I'll have to be worried about. Even though the only the one is the real-time clock chip, and then there's the additional non-volatile RAM chip for the configuration, the microchannel configuration primarily. That I'll have to work with on those. And so these two slots here are for memory cards. And they actually have those boards have particular 72-pin SIMs that can go onto them. And either the 8, 16, or 32 megabyte SIMs, 72-pin SIMs can go on those boards. And at the upper end, at the with 32 megabyte SIMs, you can have as long as you fully populate the board with 32 megabyte SIMs, you can have 512 megabyte on each of the memory cards. So with two memory cards fully populated with those 32 megabyte SIMs, you can have a gigabyte of RAM on there. And that's not much in today's standards, but back when, that was the thing. You could, if you had a gigabyte of RAM on the system. Now, this top slot is actually, and this is actually what they call the corollary bus for these adapters here, with these sorts of slots. And this bottom, or the top, effectively the top slot here is for I'm trying to work on how the board would actually be aligned, because this would be with the power connections. I think that would be the power supply. So that would be, I guess, effectively the bottom of the board going this way. So this, but any regard whether this is top or bottom, this memory, this position for the memory card can also is a dual use and can be used for a CPU card, and that would be a Pentium level CPU, socket 7 or socket 5, excuse me. That's on one of those cards. I didn't bring up any of the corresponding cards, but ultimately this is able to have, these 5 slots here filled with CPU cards, corollary bus, and a 6th CPU card here if you don't have a memory adapter card that's in here to hold those SIMs. And you're limited, of course, then to having the 512 megabyte maximum system RAM. But and then these CPU cards do not have to be matched on processors either. In other words, they don't have to be the same stepping version, same speed, and things like that. They can be mixed. And they started out at the 100 megahertz Pentium level. The 133 is real common. I think they went up to the 166 card, and then you can have, there's a 200 megahertz Pentium card that's the absolute highest for this, and I forget if you can even put MMX processors in there since they're mixed voltage and things like that. But anywhere between 100 megahertz and 200 megahertz for those CPU cards. And like I say, you don't have to match them. You do have to have an OS that can deal with, however many CPU cards that you have on there, being that for the, like NT Workstation being 2 CPUs maximum, and NT Server being able to go up to 4 CPUs. And I think that was my configuration on my primary 720. But I did want to kind of show what I brought in, not to take a whole bunch of time, but just give people exposure to seeing one of these systems, seeing what's there. And on an earlier video, I also mentioned, that there's a capacitor that's miswired for this video chip, this Cirrus Logic, just like it was on the video adapter. It's called the SVGA/A, and that capacitor is actually on the reverse here, and is one of these, probably one of these yellow ones. And this is probably not a corrected board, but I could go through and I could go through and fix that before I actually would put that in the system, or fix this, get the Dallas modules replaced, everything else, and then put this in a system in place of the planar that I had in there for a long period of time as well. And to kind of get it up to date with the minimal amount of bugs to it and everything else. But you may be seeing a little bit more to this level later on. Just fabulously nice board. And so, I'll get it back in the anti-static bag. These bags are as big as the view of this Skycam. So unfortunately in this video, I didn't end up having the ability to turn that Skycam around to be able to fix our Model 50 system here. And who knows, for maybe another attempt, maybe we'll go through, even though that may be a relatively easy solution on this mixed boot file disk, but maybe that's the one that we could make the attempt next time on, just to go through and see what content, see if there's anything that we maybe need to necessarily remove, or I think the easy way to correct this, I'm just going to copy the files from that DOS directory, that command com, I think, just to replace it. And the one thing I didn't want to go into, I sat there and I spent time talking about not wanting to have too long a video. But maybe we, I don't know. If you guys are game for going I'm gonna just let me get things sized around, and we'll see if we have a quick solution for this one at least. Again, I'm booting from that diskette that has the CT program on it, but I put the boot files on there because I had a system that I wanted to go through CT. I think that was a 9585X. So let's see, we can get over to the C drive on this. Okay. We're going to get all goofied up here. Uh, 42 minutes. Still not too bad, but if I didn't know that I was going to try anything further, I would have gone through and I'd have gone through and been quicker on showing that. Okay. So without pulling the battery and just restoring the configuration, that's an option. As long as you can get that configuration lost, and sometimes it's just better. You'll get there to the in the end. You'll get there in the end just by pulling that battery and rerunning the automatic configuration is sometimes the quickest way to do things. And I mean, I hear the hard drive make some noise and everything. I know it before I was able to. It just told me that the command.com was missing because it didn't match the hidden files. So I'm just wanting to get back into. There we go. Okay. So what routine we're going to go through here is that we have that command.com there. Oh, this is the, no, this is not the disk that we, okay. So we have this one, okay. So the system shouldn't complain. I'm glad I figured out. I've actually got my post-it notes on the wrong drive. So that's actually the works with games and WordPerfect. This is the mixed boot files. And you understand now that we have a configuration that should be set for a working hard drive in there. And again, we have the boot diskette in the drive. I don't know why all these videos have to be so long nowadays. Sometimes I just want, you know, to, even if it shows where I'm not able to go and get a drive working, I'm fine with that. But I thought I'd repair this drive too. Okay, it's going through and trying to detect that drive, it seemed. Okay, to the C, do a directory here. Okay, and we didn't have to give it one screen full at a time. So what I meant to show is the command.com here is 6.22, and I believe that those files, otherwise we're going to go into, and see, we didn't have, we had the hidden files, but they don't match. Oh, and those are 6.22 again. Okay, so let's try this. Copy C DOS command.com. Yes, we want to overwrite. That's a DOS version that finally you got where it detected an existing file there. And maybe that's the time I need the SkyCam showing up on the front of the access light, because, okay. So we're going to abort. So that command.com may be in a, just may be in a bad space on the drive. So I'm going to do a, or let's do, why get to, okay. So I've just gone through and I've named that file that's probably just in a bad spot of the disk to command.bad, and I'm going to do an issue the same command as before. DOS command.com Okay. So the command.com that's in the DOS directory may be in a bad place. Not to worry, because I have that on my, let me show you. Okay, so I had the 6.22 version there, and I hope that those files, those hidden files, could be messed up as well. But we're going to go through just the last thing that we can try with this disk, and it might be good just to try and rebuild this one for what I could too. If this fails, otherwise I'm just gonna wash my hands of it, and we'll do another show where we try and go through and yeah. Sector not found, writing drive C. Okay. And I don't know what utilities I have on here to I'm probably going to get into the same sort of thing with even with those DOS diskettes that I just can't go through. So I'm going to leave things where they are with this, and we're going to try going through and doing that CTRL-A sequence on the next video, and it's not going to be tonight, on the drive that's in there now with the correct post-it notes on the marked on those. And at least this one is going to come in under an hour. You know, we just can't predict these things sometimes. I thought that CTRL-A would go through and work with that one drive, but I think we're set now. The reference diskette seems to know that there's a fixed drive there. We're able to run the command. We're able to run that CTRL-A sequence, most likely, on the next video. I don't know, and maybe we need to look at what we'll do at the start of that. And of course, it's always, you know, when you go through and rebuild the drive, see if you can back up the data. And we'll start the same way, where we can see if we can back up that word star and whatever is in that saved directory. We'll look at that bat directory, xtree directory. So we're going to try and back up what we can off of this drive and see if we can run a CTRL-A on it. And these things are getting old. It may be just that third drive that I found is with the games and everything else that boots to that drive. Maybe the one where that is the only one that really works at any level again. But we'll see what we can do on the next video. So that's all I have for now. If you like this video, like it even when I fail. Click on that like button, and by all means subscribe to my channel. Recommend the channel for others to subscribe. We need to really grow that subscriber base. But that's all I have for now. This is IBM Museum. Thank you.